Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Python 3 Crash Course. And today we're going to be going over another module. So we already looked at the sys module. That's the module we use to get command line arguments from. Now there's a lot of other things that the sys module does, but we'll come back to those in other videos as they kind of pop up, as the different functions related to those sub-modules become things that we're going to need. But for now, since we already talked about file input and output and getting this kind of information from a command line argument, well, it's kind of a natural thing to wonder, sometimes you want to maybe check to see if that file exists, because maybe something we don't want a program to just say crash unexpectedly. Sometimes we can automatically check and maybe prompt the user to say, do you want to try a different file name that that one doesn't exist? Maybe you typed something in incorrectly. So for that, we're going to use something from the OS module. So we'll go ahead and jump into our example for today. So if we go to exists.py, that's going to be under, if we go to Python 3 Crash Course, Fundamental Concepts, Modules, and then OS module. So within OS module, we'll go ahead and open it up. And this will be a quick one today. Uh-oh, I already have it open. So we'll go ahead and import argv like we did previously to get a file path that we want. And then from os.path, we'll import exists. Now, we'll see this maybe a couple other times where we have to say, maybe not directly in os, but os.path. So there's a lot of utilities associated with os. So there's even sub-utilities that exist for path. So importing directly os.path keeps us from having to say, if we only imported os, let's say like this, if we just said import os, if we wanted to get exists, we would have to type os.path.exists. Now if we type instead, keep how we had it as from os.path import exists. This way we can just type exists as a single function. So it saves a little bit on space and code clarity. So what are we going to do in this short example? So we'll go ahead and we'll take a command line argument, and that's going to be this path to a file. And then we'll go ahead and just print out and check to see if this file exists. Now what we do with this answer, this will return a Boolean value, so just a true or a false. And later on when we go over control flow, we see how we can maybe make decisions upon this value. But for now, we'll just do a quick check. So let's go ahead and exit out. Right. And let's run it. So we'll go ahead and do Python3 exists.py. Now let's go ahead and check to see if, let's go ahead and go back a couple directories, and we'll go to program.io, file.io, and let's see if test.txt exists. So it prints out true, so that file does exist. It doesn't check to say is it the right file, but it does check to say, is there a file of this name at this location? So let's go ahead and maybe what happens if we make a spelling mistake. So the I and the O, or the O and the P keys are next to each other. So what if we type accidentally file IP and then test.txt? So this directory doesn't exist at all. So this file should exist. So what happens when we run this exists command on this path? So we get false. So pretty quick one, pretty quick example today, but it's a very useful thing, especially when we're automating programs. Just as a quick sanity check, we can just make sure that before we maybe go through a ton of initialization and start computing things, and then maybe we need to read a file, we can go ahead and check ahead of time to say, oh, this doesn't exist. So instead of the program just crashing. So let's go ahead and to close it out, we'll go ahead and go to the GitHub page. So this is going to be at Coffee Before Arch. So github.com/coffeebeforearch. And then we go to Python 3 Crash Course, Fundamental Concepts. Here we have links to all the videos and the files associated with them. So we looked at exists.py today. Looks like I haven't pushed the code yet, so that'll be up by the time this video airs, but it'll be under that directory. So if we just go here, it'll be under this OS module directory. So as always, I'm Nick from Coffee Before Arch, and I hope you have a nice day.